All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Can't believe it's already August and we are almost 6 months into this pandemic, but hope that you guys are doing well. Sure miss seeing you guys in person. Exciting afternoon. We have a lot of people in the room. I'm so pumped to see almost 30 people here and see your faces. We have some great speakers lined up for this afternoon, including USO resiliency programs and Operation Gratitude. But to give them an idea of who all is in the chat or in this conversation, I want to give you guys an opportunity to go around and introduce yourselves. Please keep it short and sweet so we can have room to hear from our awesome presenters. I'll just briefly tell you, I'm Christy Kennedy, Senior Manager for Serving Together, part of Every Mind. I'm a military spouse myself, and we focus on helping veterans connect to resources, providing community collaborations like this, and doing community education. And so with that, what I'll make it a little bit easier is I'll just kind of call out individuals on the screen so you can come off mute and say hi and introduce yourselves. So we'll start with Bob Bent. Are you there, Bob?
Yes, I am, Christy. Thank you very much. I'm a retired Army careerist with about 29 years of service, and I'm currently affiliated with the Disabled American Veterans Organization. And most of you may be aware of the flagship program that we are well known for is assisting with claims with the VA. And we assist all veterans and family members that have a legitimate claim, and that you do not have to be a member of the DAV in order to get our assistance, which is free of charge, free of charge.
Awesome, thanks, Bob. Sarah Johnson.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Johnson. I am a transition program coordinator with the USO Metro out of Fort Belvoir. I think you guys are going to hear about some of our other great programs that we have going on here at the center and kind of across the metro area with Ashi. I partner with her.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Betsy, I know you're going to be speaking, but I'll go ahead and let you say hi as well.
Hi, everybody. I'm Betsy Eves. I am with Operation Gratitude, along with the two other Betsy Eves that are in here, Kevin and Paul. I am a Army spouse. My husband retired in 2016, and I'm also his caregiver. And I run the Wounded Hero and Caregiver Program at Operation Gratitude.
Awesome. Mary Santini, who is the co-chair for this collaborative. You want to say hi?
Hey, everyone. Yes, I'm Mary Santini. I'm the regional manager for the American Red Cross Service to Armed Forces programs for the Red Cross at Fort Belvoir and Quantico, Pentagon, all the clinics, all of that. So I'm happy to be here and happy to see so many faces.
Awesome. Fred Stewart.
Yes, my name is Fred Stewart. I'm with Northern Virginia Veterans Association, U.S. Army veteran, and was stationed at Fort Belvoir in the mid 80s. Our program is primarily to help the most vulnerable veterans obtain fulfill their needs with transportation, health benefits, a shoulder to air their problems and everything. And I've been doing this for 8 months, and I enjoy this. And I see a bunch of other supporters that were at our last member partner meeting. So thank you.
Awesome. Glad you're here, Fred.
Thank
you. Ashi, I know you're going to be presenting later, but do you also want to say hi?
Sure. My name is Ashi Paliparambo. I work for USO Metro. I'm the senior manager of resiliency programs, which includes the transition programs. I see a lot of familiar faces out there, so hello to everybody that I do know, and nice to meet everybody else. So I'm looking forward to give you an overall view of USO Metro, to remind you of some of the things that we offer, but then also to let you know a little bit more about our resiliency programs and transition programs that we offer.
Awesome. Glad you're here. Lisa Lamb.
Hello, everybody. This is my first time here, so I just want to say thank you for inviting me to this. I am the lead school behavioral health provider at Fort Belvoir Elementary. So we work predominantly out of Fort Belvoir Elementary as far as clinical work, but we're also expanding partnerships to collaborations to support families at Fort Belvoir and the surrounding areas and get them connected with services.
Awesome. Glad you're here. Deb, how are you?
Hey, everybody. Hello, everybody who I know, and hello to all those who I don't know. My name is Deb Balistreri, and I am the Education Director over at the Workhouse Arts Center, and I also manage the Workhouse Military and the Arts Initiative. That's Brisby behind me on the couch. And we have basically we have art therapy and family programs for veterans, active duty retirees, and their caregivers. And with me today is a new person on our team, Alyssa, and she'll be chatting with you just a second and tell you a little bit about our art therapy program.
Yay, glad Alyssa joined. Also, Betsy number 2, also known as Kevin.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Kevin Schmiegel. I'm a 20-year retired Marine, and I'm the CEO of Operation Gratitude. It's nice to meet you all.
Awesome, glad you're here. And then Betsy number 3, Paul.
It was almost going to be my Spartacus moment. I am Betsy Eves. Hey, Paul Cucinotta here. I'm the Chief Operating Officer with Operation Gratitude. I'm also a retired Marine. I retired about 1.5 years ago and am continuing my service here with Operation Gratitude. And thanks for having me.
Awesome, great. Alyssa. Oh, I think your sound isn't working. Nope, we can't hear you. Oh no. I know you can also call in, so you can speak that way. So I'll go ahead and go on to the next person, but if you want to try calling in. All right. Kyler, hey there.
Hi, how's it going? I'm Kyler Olenek. I'm the Director of Operation Home Friends Transitional Housing Program. We are a national nonprofit that builds strong, stable, and secure military families through a variety of programs. Like I said, I work for our transitional housing program, as does Mary, who's on the line as well. We're located here in Gaithersburg, Maryland, but we have programs locations in San Antonio, Texas, San Diego, California, and here as well. We're serving wounded, ill, and injured service members who are in the process of medically separating from the military or who have recently medically separated and are awaiting VA benefits. And we currently have availability at the Maryland Village and San Antonio Village. So if you know of any applicants, any service members or veterans who are in need, please send them our way.
Awesome. Thanks for the update. Niati?
Hi, I'm Niati Dokai. I'm a professor at George Mason University, and I'm also the program director for our Veterans in the Arts Initiative. We provide free community arts programming for veterans, service members, and their families. And hopefully a lot of you on this call have gotten our recent e-blasts for our guitar workshops and our songwriting series for military kids. We're starting out next month, and we're pretty excited about it.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw that email today, or maybe it was yesterday, but yeah. Awesome. Elizabeth Golden?
Hi, my name is Elizabeth. I'm with the Travis Manion Foundation. I am lucky to work with some individuals from the USO here on this call. I haven't been to these in a while. Life has been a little crazy. But the Travis Manion Foundation, primarily we work with veterans and Gold Star family members. And we connect them back to their communities through positive engagement programming such as mentoring, character and leadership in youth, and other things like that. So I'm happy to be here.
Hey, I'm glad you joined us back. Great news. Julie Riggs.
Hello, I'm Julie Riggs. I am the National Capital Region Chapter Director for Blue Star Families, and I am also a military spouse of 24 years. My husband's in the Navy. Blue Star Families is a nonprofit organization that works to connect our military families to their communities through a variety of programming. And I'll tell a little more if we get a chance to talk later. I'll go into a little more detail. Thanks, Christy.
Awesome. Maria Jose Contoni.
Morning, everyone. My name is Maria Jose Cantoni. I work for the Financial Empowerment Center at the South County in Alexandria. We provide free services for the community, everything related to finance, how to get financially stable and how to move forward. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Yolanda Rayford.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Yolanda Rayford. I'm the Senior Career Coach with Easter Seals Veteran Staffing Network. We support veterans, including National Guard, Reserve personnel, military spouses, caregivers, and transitioning military service members from any era. Our goal is to place job seekers in nationwide temp to hire opportunities. We are a staffing agency. However, as a career coach, it is my role to provide supportive services to job seekers. Those supportive services include career assessment, upskilling, social media understanding, resume preparation, and these supportive services are provided in a variety of ways. More recently, virtually, as Easter Seals partners with USO, Dog Tag Bakery, Wounded Warrior Project to provide workshops, but we also have the Veteran Staffing Network Tuesday Talks. I will put that information in the chat and send it off to Christy. So nice to see everyone on such a lovely day. Thank you, Christy.
Yeah, thank you, Yolanda. Brenda Campbell.
Hey everybody, Brenda Campbell. I do outreach for the Psychological Health Center of Excellence's In Transition program. That's a free confidential program that offers specialized coaching and assistance for service members, Guard members, reservists, veterans, retirees who need access to mental health care. Nice to see everybody.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I know you presented at some of our other collaboratives, so glad you're here today. Forrest Lingenfelter.
Hi, I'm Forrest Lingenfelter. I'm retired Army, retired Civil Service, and just retired. I'm the Motorcycle Club liaison for the Northern Virginia Veterans Association. I maintain communication and contact with 44 motorcycle clubs, riding clubs, and motorcycle associations in Northern Virginia. I'm also a member of the American Legion Riders and the Virginia State Coordinator for the Missing in America Project.
Awesome, busy man. Mary Mahoney.
So hi, I'm Mary Mahoney. I am married to a Marine and I work with Kyler. So she already talked about Operation Homefront. I am the village coordinator at the Gaithersburg, Maryland Village. Thanks for having me.
All right. Mallory Lass.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mallory Lass. I am a Air Force veteran, and I work with the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic at Easter Seals. Our services provide mental health care for anybody who's ever served in the military. That includes veterans of all eras, regardless of discharge, active duty members, and all of their families. Something that makes our clinic interesting is family is defined by the veteran or service member, not by DoD standards. So that could be dating partners, children, adults, adult children, it varies. We offer individual counseling, couples counseling, family counseling, child adolescent counseling, as well as wellness programs as well. We are located in Silver Spring, Maryland, but with the aid of telehealth, we are able to serve anybody in Maryland, Virginia, and DC. I'm excited to be here. I'd love to connect with those of you that I don't know. Excited to work more with NOVA. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here. And hi, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Mallory. Amy Harris.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amy Harris with Virginia Department of Veteran Services. I'm part of the state, so the Commonwealth of Virginia. We serve all veterans, regardless of discharge status, all eras. We also serve their dependents. As part of the Commonwealth, all services are free, and we assist with claims. So benefits department, they do that. So that's disability compensation, pension, survivor benefits. And right now we have an 86% approval rate, and we are taking referrals. That is hybrid mode. So all our offices, each office is different, but we are in hybrid mode. So right now we're in office 3 days a week, and I can provide the website. So for example, I'm in the Manassas office Tuesday through Thursday, with exception today because I had a migraine. But I'll provide the website availability. So what is so special about our offices or our team is that we provide resources. I'm a resource specialist. We also have a veteran peer support specialist. Now, those specialists, they deal with veterans that are justice involved only. They go out into the prisons, and they start working with the veterans then. They also go to the veterans docket to try to assist the veterans to coordinate with other providers and get them the best treatment, and probably reduce the charges as well so that the veterans do get the treatment. The justice involved teams, they also go to CITs to make sure that our police force is also trained and understanding what veterans are going through. Our agency also has peer specialists. So these are veterans that are working with other veterans, dealing with substance abuse, PTS, TBI, and working with them goal-oriented moving forward. And that's my department, the Veteran Family Support side. We also have care centers, cemeteries, and a variety of other groups. Everything, again, is completely free. So I'll be posting the website. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you.
Awesome. Good to see you, Amy. And I'm sorry about your migraine. Hope you're feeling better.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Neil Goodman.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Neil, and I do free workshops for stress management using emotional freedom technique, EFT, heart math, and also mindfulness. I work in the prisons. I work with partnering recently with Julie to do some more Blue Star Family workshops. I've got several workshops coming up for GMU, OLLI, which is coming up in September, and in the fall. My venues are an hour to an hour and a half, and they're free, and I'll post my information online too.
Awesome. Thanks, Neil. Good to see you.
Nice seeing you.
Alyssa, were you able to get the sound to work?
I think so. Sorry about that. Hi. Thank you for having me here today, and Deb for the introduction. But yes, my name is Alyssa Goggin, and I'm the new art therapist for the Workhouse Military and the Arts Initiative at the Workhouse Art Center. Right now, I am running the Veterans Open Studio that happens every Saturday from 12 to 3. Second Saturdays of the month are for families of military veterans, active duty, reservists. And then I offer individual and group art therapy services, which are free to veterans and their dependents as well. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Excited to meet you. Oh, am I still muted? I'm good. Okay. Richard Lane, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How you all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Okay. Hey, Legal Services in Northern Virginia. I'm the Veterans Law Paralegal. My primary work is we help veterans with discharge upgrades, but Legal Services in Northern Virginia primary function is to help low income, at risk, and homeless residents, including veterans of Northern Virginia, with their civil legal needs. And we recently started partnering with someone on working on VA pensions as well for people going into assisted living facilities. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. Anna Jones.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So again, my name is Anna Jones. I'm a community counselor with Marine Corps Community Services At Henderson Hall, I provide individual, couples, counseling for the Marines and their families attached to Henderson Hall. And thank you again for the invite to join today.
Yay, glad you're here. Kathy Andrews.
Hello, my name is Kathy Andrews, and I'm also with the Virginia Department of Veteran Services. We try to attend the collaborative as much as possible. Our offices located at Building 1189 on Fort Belvoir is now open. We are open for in-person appointments on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we conduct virtual appointments on Mondays and Fridays. We assist veterans and their family members with filing claims for compensation, survivor's pension, education benefits. We have Miss Amy is on with the VVFS portion of our department for referrals for assistance that veterans need as far as financial, mental health, housing, and those areas. So thank you for having us, and we're looking forward to the information that's going to be put out today.
Thanks, Kathy. And then I think we have around 2 or so people that have called in. I'll kind of let you guys introduce yourselves if you want to come off mute.
Good afternoon. I'm Rosa Harris from the Army Recovery Care Coordination Program, which used to be the Army Wounded Warriors Program. They changed our name, made it harder to say. And I'm not sure how many of you have heard about us, but we work with the most severely wounded and ill soldiers and veterans to help them with their benefits. And we run to you guys who have talked previously for help many times, like Kyler. I wish I was on Zoom so I could see her. She has been a wonderful asset to our program.
Awesome. So glad you're here, Rosa.
I am too. I just wish I could see you guys.
I know. We wish you could see you too. Is there someone else that's called in? All right, well, we'll go ahead and move forward. I'm excited that you are all here. I'm excited to see the conversation that you're having in chat as well. Continue to share your contact information and resources as well, or upcoming events in there. We will have some time towards the end of the meeting to share updates and announcements and things like that. But for now, I want to start our presentations and give you opportunity for some Q&A with our speakers today. So we're going to start with USO resiliency programs. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on sharing. So if you want to show any slides, you're able to.
All right, can you guys hear me and see the slides all at the same time?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I just want to make sure. Okay, well, thank you for inviting me. I'm really honored to be presenting to all of you. Again, I just want to give you all a overview of what USO does, but then also focus on what we've been doing for resiliency programs, which includes the transition programs at USO Metro. If you have any questions, I'll answer them at the end. I do apologize, around 1:30 or so, I do have to jump off for a program that I'm running, and Sarah Johnson is here so that she can answer any questions just in case I miss them. So I think most of you are very familiar with the USO. I think most people are familiar with the Bob Hope Days and what we do in uplifting our service members and their families. Very familiar with us in the airport. So we are located in the entire DC metro area. We are at the 3 airports that are local to us, which is BWI, Reagan National, Dulles International as well. And then we have three other lounges at Andrews, Meyer Henderson Hall, and MEPS in Baltimore. And so that those places are what most people are familiar with, where we have our, coffee, snacks, free internet, place to relax, computers, and whatnot. In addition to what the lounges offer, where we also have some programs that are offered at the center too. So a little bit about the programs that we're doing. I think all our lives have gone upside down during the pandemic. So we are trying our best to do, to still stay relevant and still offer some programs. So I kind of catered this to what we're still doing right now so that if you have service members who are looking for resources, that they're aware of it. So beyond the base, we have a lot of programs that we are still offering since they are happening outdoors. So we've done paddle boarding, kayaking. We are about to do a family, what should have been a camping trip. So now it will be a family outing in an area in Maryland and an area in Virginia. And we're going to provide like activity kits for people to take home, providing lunch and all of that. So a lot of things that we would have done, over the weekend, we're trying to do it so that we can be socially distant and still be able to offer that. There are still a lot of virtual challenges being offered in our social media platform. So like us on all of our Facebook pages, and you'll be able to see some of the programs that are happening at the center, as well as the virtual opportunities if you don't want to or you cannot make it out there. We are still providing meals. I know that food is a big issue for a lot of our families right now, especially if the spouse is not working. I know that, many people have lost their jobs recently. So we are offering your USO meals, Yum Meals at our center. So if you are looking at our Facebook pages, you'll be able to find out when those meals are happening. Specifically at Fort Belvoir, just a reminder that we have a food pantry there. So if there are any families who are hurting and really just need some of the staples, they can come into the center. We are open right now, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And they can just let the volunteer know. And there is a list of things that the volunteer will put together in bags and discreetly put it together and help them with the groceries to their car, or else just pass it along to them and they can take them away. The other bigger program that we have that is helpful for food is Supermarket Sweeps, which is every first Wednesday of the month at our Fort Belvoir location. It happens 2 times at our Fort Meade location, and in hoping that we're starting to work together with the National Capital Area Food Bank and may possibly even have it at our Bethesda location. But they bring a variety of different pallets of food basically, and it's boxed up. And right now we're doing a drive-through, so everything is just put into your car. The whole box is just put into your car. So definitely making sure that we are keeping in line with the social distance. If you know of any, or if you guys are looking to find other, you have some families who are looking to support the military families. As I said, we do have the food pantry at Fort Belvoir, so we do accept the non-perishables so that we can incorporate that into our center, so that if there are people out there who need it, they're more than welcome to come and see us at the center. In addition to all of our centers, we have a mobile program, which basically we have a trailer, a mini mobile, we have a fleet of vehicles that will go out into the community. So there's opportunities for unit support if needed to go out to AP Hill or up to Aberdeen. So the opportunities and possibilities are endless. So a little bit about the resiliency program. So I'm an art therapist, that's my background, and they hired me about 8 years ago when we opened the Fort Belvoir Center, about 6 months before the center was open. And both the Fort Belvoir and Bethesda centers have art studios built in the center. So they wanted an art therapist there to be able to run the programs and whatnot. So the resiliency programs have grown a little. It's specific for wounded, ill, and injured service members and their caregivers and families. So we focus on the creative arts. So, yesterday we had open studio hours at Fort Belvoir so that the service members could just come and relax in the studio, make art. They don't have to be an artist to be there. A lot of times what I'm telling the service member is to find what works for you, because what works for one person is not going to work for the other. And a lot of times being in the studio is also a social opportunity. Just getting outside of the room is very important. So we have put some sanitization, social distancing rules in place so that we can still be able to offer the art programs in the art studio. So yesterday we had a few people there. We have also moved many of our programs virtually. So we did do a lot of our programs right at the beginning of COVID, the open art programs, music lessons, songwriting. We had a variety of different opportunities available. Again, what works for one person is not going to work for the other. So it is our goal to try to find a variety of outlets and mediums for service members and their families to participate in and decide what is really going to work for them. We've also done, outdoor recreation programs. So when we were working with the WTB, or what's now called the Soldier Recovery Unit, we work with a lot of the rec therapists and OTs to actually help them with some of the programs that they want to offer. So we've done an adaptive ice hockey clinic. We've had a person bring their the rock wall so that they could do an adaptive version of that. We've worked with other partner organizations to offer adaptive water skiing programs. So a variety of different opportunities, again, as I mentioned. The other thing about wounded, ill, and injured programs is that we do try to keep the numbers lower. So while there are many programs that are offered at the center, like a bingo, which has 150 people, there is another bingo that's offered for wounded, ill, and injured specifically, so that there is a smaller population and there's not 150 screaming children that many of the wounded, ill, and injured population will just be like, nope, I'm not going to be here and I'm going to leave and be out of there. So there's an option for a smaller program. So most of the programs that we offered are in much smaller numbers than the bigger programs that are offered at the center. We have been doing some programs with the military medical community for a little while now. So we've done paint nights or escape rooms and provide a meal for the nurses and doctors. So we work with different units in different places. During COVID, it was very apparent that the medical community was hit and really needed some attention. So, Mary, I'm very grateful for her with American Red Cross. We were able to support some lunches for the medical workers that were at Fort Belvoir Community Hospital. I also worked with her counterpart at Walter Reed, so we would make sure that we were not, delivering meals at the same time, but trying to support the medical community in providing just meals for the ER, for the people working in the tents, for the different ICU cancer patient population, or the providers for that population. So just trying to make sure that we're taking care of the people who are taking care of our service members. So we've been able to do that before in offering some fun activities and whatnot, but more recently, our focus has been to go to the hospitals and help support, Nurses Day and whatnot. We are starting to do programs for chaplains. We haven't started yet. There's this great, awesome training program that we want to do, but COVID has impacted our ability to attend the training, but that is coming in the near future. Again, it's focusing on the people who are taking care of our service members in addition to the wounded, ill, and injured population is important. So that is a little bit about who we serve and some of the things that we do. Again, what works for one person is not going to work for the other. So we want to make sure that we are offering as much as possible and having that opportunity to partner with many of you that we have in the past. And I know we will continue to work together, including Betsy from Operation Gratitude. I remember we've done some nice gift boxes for the cancer patient providers. And then we've also done it on an excursion that we've done work together before. So that's amazing to have partners like you to work with to be able to offer these programs. And then on a side note, I will send the information for a program that we're actually offering right now. It's called Reflections of Courage. It is a program where service members can take their poetry and put it to music, and it is a spoken word performance in the end. So they're actually working really hard this week, and we're doing the recorded performance of that virtually next week. Niati, we did it last time at your location. So this time we had to do it the virtual way. So I will make sure that the information for that program is available. So if you would like to see, something that we do, see it live and in action, I'll make sure that's available to you. Transition programs, I know that Maura and Sarah have attended this meeting before, so I hope I'm not just repeating things that they've said, but I think we all know that there are so many people transitioning out of the military, whether it's a medical retirement, whether it's separating, whether it's I've been here for 20 plus years and I'm retiring. There are so many people transitioning out of the military, and so we provide a variety of transition programs. So here are the different areas that we look at for transitioning service members. These are our pillars. So we especially have found that during this COVID pandemic era that the transition program numbers have actually gone up. We've, I don't think childcare is an issue. I don't think driving and being in hours of traffic trying to come to our workshops are much of an issue. So we've actually had a lot of people participate in programs that are being offered. I know that we've partnered with Yolanda here to do a variety of programs as well. So again, opportunities to partner and work together are always there. Just to tell you a little bit about our pillars. So the employment readiness programs, that would be, our resume workshops, specifically programs that focus on helping an individual to get ready for that transition process, interview skills, resume, etc. Employment services, so we have offered networking dinners where we have some companies come in and they talk about the hiring process for their particular company, and it's a targeted approach, so we might look for the people out there who have their PMP, or maybe it's an opportunity for those people in cybersecurity. So we have a variety of different networking opportunities with some of the companies that we work with. Transition skills training. So this could be how to, if you're looking to start your own entrepreneur or franchise, or you're looking to how to write a grant so you can start your own nonprofit. So a variety of different transition skills that you might need. We also have our Project Next Step program. So that is an education program that we offer. So we have 3 tracks. We offer a class for project management, the PMP, CISSP, so that's cybersecurity, and CCNA, so that's in networking. And we provide the materials, the instruction, and classroom time for that. And that, once you take that class, then you are able to actually sit and get your certification, which makes you more eligible in the working market. So we have these programs available already, and right now we are actually doing our CCNA program, all done virtually, and it's been going great. Family transition programs, that's a little bit newer, but we have the college student coming in this particular era. It's what do you do when you're not able to do all of the programs and volunteer opportunities and sports and all of that? What do you make use of your time how do you make the best use of your time? So we will be offering a lot of programming specific to that teen who is transitioning from home life to maybe after home life into college or past that. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to skip Pathfinder for a second and just go into Stronger Spouses. We've been offering the Coffee Connection program, as well as the Military Spouse Networking program, which many of you partners have been a part of. So we offer Course for Change. I know, Christy, that you're helping with that program as well. So there are opportunities for the military spouse to make benefits of their resources that are available to them. And to speak about the transition programs, that is also includes all military spouses. So they are eligible to participate in all of these programs because military spouses are always transitioning. You're here for 3 years and then you have to move to San Antonio. So you're always transitioning. So all of the programs that we offer, including our Project Next Step tracks, we have specific spots that are for military spouses. So keep that in mind. And then to go back to Pathfinder, so Pathfinder is our program where we actually have a case manager that's assigned to you and can help you with any area of transitioning. This is open to anyone transitioning out of the military, and again, open to any military spouse. And especially for the spouse or the family who is transitioning to another location, we have Pathfinder specialists or transition specialists in multiple areas within the US, so that if you're transitioning to another area and we have a location there, we can connect you with the resources to the place that you're going to next. So if you have any problems in that transition area, or if you're a military spouse looking for some additional support, meeting with our Pathfinder transition specialist would be a great idea. And here I put that webpage on there, uso.org/Pathfinder. You have to do a small intake form, and then someone will call you and they'll be your one-on-one resource to kind of help you through whatever transition struggles you might have, or whatever struggles you might have in trying to find your next location, like looking for a place to live or volunteer opportunities, whatever that might be. I also want to just put a plug out there. We have our holiday programs that are coming up for some of the families who may not have the means to help with, a Thanksgiving meal, Christmas tree, or gifts for their kids. If you know of people who might be interested, it is rank restricted, but if they go to our Facebook page and make sure that they're getting our emails, that would be the best way for them to be able to enter into those lotteries so that they can have that additional support during the holidays. Last but not least, our centers are open right now, and we are always looking for volunteers. So if you guys are free and would like to volunteer, or if you know of others who are interested, it's easy to become a USO volunteer. Go to usometro.org/volunteer and you can become a volunteer very quickly. We are on all social media platforms, so you can find us there if you're looking for additional information. And this is my information. I'll make sure that it's in the chat function so that you can email me if you have any questions after this. And again, I'll be here till about 1:30, and then Sarah will be available to answer any other questions after that. So that's my spiel.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ashi, and such amazing programs that you guys offer for the military families. So I do want to pause and see what questions the attendees have for you.
Sure.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, actually, I used to do some volunteer work down at Fort Belvoir. As a matter of fact, monthly workshops on stress management. And we had small groups, 6 or sometimes 12 people, really introducing them, especially under the guise of PTSD, on heart math and emotional freedom technique, tapping. So if you can connect me later on, you have my information on there. Doing virtual workshops, getting back into that, I'd be certainly willing to do that because I did that for, I guess, the better part of a year and a half. Every month, practically, we were doing. I also did holiday de-stress management workshops because, unfortunately, around the holidays, there seems to be more stress than the rest of the year. So the virtual format is fine. I have my own Zoom website, or actually my Zoom protocol now. So I've been using Zoom with Ali, anywhere from 50 to 70 people, and on a maybe a 3-part venue. Each venue was an hour and a half. So yeah, when we can, let's connect, and maybe you can help me reconnect with the Fort Belvoir group.
Sure thing. Sounds good. I'll make sure I get your information.
Thanks, Ashley.
And yeah, I have a question. I'm curious to know kind of how you guys are seeing response from military families during the pandemic, in terms of your events and, are they reaching out to you for further support in certain needs? I'd love to hear an update on that.
I will definitely, when I brought up the need for food, I think we had so many families sign up for the supermarket sweeps program. And I know a lot of families are hurting out there in terms of being able to feed the whole family. So we've done, yum dinners where a family can come pick up things. We have done the supermarket sweeps, and we have had families come in to just, utilize the food pantry. I think that seems to be one of the biggest things. And then I believe the other thing is just trying to find something to do with their kids since they're all at home. So we've had, something small offered at the center, like a craft, come and pick up your crafts to go home with the kids, or come and just grab some ice cream from the center. And it's just something very small, but so meaningful for dad, mom to take kids out for the day and say, hey, we're just going to go to USO, grab some ice cream and, chill out. So they are still looking for resources. So but the biggest one that I think I've seen is supermarket sweep. Even when we did it during the pandemic, the need was there and so many vehicles showed up to pick up food.
Yeah, I heard about the last supermarket sweeps. I think it was earlier in August. A lot of spouses were posting on Facebook about just how long the line was because there's so many people in need. So I think that's really important, and if there's ways these organizations can help support your guys' work into helping those families during those supermarket weeks or other kind of food drive type of events to help families, I definitely think that y'all would be a great place to turn to and connect with for those organizations to support, because you have such a large footprint. And it's good to hear that you guys are potentially trying to get one at Bethesda as well.
Yes, it was it's not official, so I probably shouldn't even said it, but I know that Midge and I are very excited about it. We're just waiting for all of the approvals to go through so that we are going to be able to do it there.
Yeah, and I would say if there's ways the organizations on this call can help you make that possible, by all means, you guys reach out to her and see what help she might need for that.
Sure thing.
Yolanda, do you want to ask that question maybe more specifically?
And so, Ashi, quick question. I know the supermarket sweeps are really important. And I know local food banks, they specifically don't want you dropping things off because of COVID. So do you all accept donations so that if someone wanted to Instacart a bunch of stuff from Costco or wherever, how does that work?
That's actually a really good question. I never even thought about someone Instacarting some things for us. So I would have to look into that and get back to you, but we are still accepting donations. So so if people are coming in and dropping things off, as long as it's not 50 people coming in together to donate it, we will accept the donation.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yes. But I will look into the Instacart thing. I like that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Again, I'll just pause in case anybody else has questions.
Yeah, I just would like to have Ashley put her contact information on the chat. I guess you're going to do that now. I appreciate it.
I will do that. Once we're done with all the questions, I'll make sure I put that in there, as well as the location to register to see our spoken word performance next week.
Thank you. Thanks for your presentation. Appreciate it.
Sure, no problem.
I have a question too, and thank you. This is a great bunch of information. Just speaking kind of from the feedback I get through parents, through the schools, is there something that you can send? And again, it maybe I'm just not on that listserv yet of information on those activities and those kind of supports for, you know, food and those resources, because those are two things that are really kind of communicated to schools, because that's one of the parents' kind of main lines of contact to kind of when asking about information. But one of the things that they seem to kind of express is that they feel like, just especially now coming up with school, they're on information overload. And so being able to kind of get on all of the websites and kind of reach out to those things, it seems like that's been pretty overwhelming for families. And one of the things that we're trying to do through kind of our collaborative initiative is to try to streamline those and find different ways that we can kind of push those out through teachers or through others that have direct contact with families.
Sure. So maybe just a consolidated list of where we're offering these opportunities. Yeah, I can do that. I'll make sure I have your information before I sign out, and we'll send you something that just tells you when and where our supermarket sweeps happen and where the food pantries are located.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I heard I'm learning from this class online to give 8 seconds for pausing between questions to see if anybody else has questions before we move on. So I'll give it just 8 more seconds and see if anybody else has anything.
I see someone counting down. One of the Betsy Eves. The other Betsy Eve now too.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Ashi, for your time and sharing all about the amazing work that you guys are doing with USO Metro. And we'll be excited that you're still on the call for a little bit longer, but we'll know Sarah's here if there's any other questions that people have. Feel free to share them in the chat as well. So with that, I want to move on to our second presenters, Operation Gratitude. I'm excited to have Kevin, Paul, and Betsy here to share more about their program and services. And yeah, I'll turn it over to you guys.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I don't know how much time we have. I would let Betsy and Paul introduce themselves, but just in the interest of time, I'll introduce them just because they're very modest people and they probably wouldn't really talk too much about themselves. Betsy is someone I've known for a long time. We met when she was a fellow at Dog Tag Bakery, and I was on the board of Dog Tag Bakery. And when we tried to rejuvenate and re-energize our Wounded Hero and Caregiver program, my firm belief is that you should hire someone from the community to represent the communities that we're trying to serve. So Betsy is an Army veteran spouse and caregiver, and also was a Elizabeth Dole Fellow. So she has a vast experience and deals with the challenges as a caregiver every day. And she brings that passion, commitment, and dedication to our team, and has really achieved amazing results in her first couple years in this role. She also helps us a lot on the communication side because we're a nonprofit, and she has a lot of skill helping us with the website, drafting some of our content that goes out and that we use for public facing stuff. So I'm also introducing you to Paul Cuccinata, who's our chief operating officer. Paul and I served in the Marine Corps. In full transparency, he's one of my closest friends. Any of you who run organizations, either in the military, remember running organizations in the military or outside, having someone that you trust, that has your complete trust and confidence, and vice versa, can also pull you aside and tell you when he thinks you can do things better, or whatever the case may be. But Paul joined us after 27 years in the Marine Corps, and started in January of 2019. And really has moved our organization forward so much since he came on. It really allows me to focus externally on our partners. With that said, I think for me, this goes back to a discussion Betsy brought to our attention about 2 months ago and encouraged us to get on this call. Typically, I would focus more at the national level, and even talking to, I noticed a lot of the names that are on there, talking to a lot of your CEOs at Blue Star Families, talking to Elaine at USO Metro, and obviously talking to them about partnerships. But it really comes at an interesting time because Betsy also set up a call with Christy and Mary, and we had a conversation about this call and the importance of partnerships and the power of partnerships, really not just at the national level, but at the grassroots level, right? At the community level. And we're at a point in it as an organization where I was brought on as the CEO 2.5 years ago to scale the organization nationally. And that came after my service in the Marine Corps for 20 years, going to the US Chamber of Commerce as the Chief of Staff, and then founding a program called Hiring Our Heroes at the national level. And the success of that program was driven by local community engagement and partnerships. And we're having a lot of discussions about, as we grow and grow and grow exponentially as an organization, I've been reflecting on why I am at Operation Gratitude. Why am I here? And one of the things that keeps on coming up is the importance of building and strengthening communities. So joining a call like this right now, in this moment, I guess it's just as fate would have it, because we're talking about these things at the strategic level with our board. And I realize more and more the power of partnership at the local level and the importance of building community and strengthening community. And it really is why I'm at Operation Gratitude, because we're going to talk about our mission. And we're going to go to the next slide just so I can kind of get off why I'm at the organization right now and talk about how the organization started, because I think it's important context. I don't think people understand that Operation Gratitude is the largest nonprofit in the country for hands-on volunteerism in support of our military, veterans, and first responders. Because they think about Operation Gratitude as an organization that exists in Los Angeles or that just makes care packages. And you cannot assemble and deliver 2.9 million care packages in 17 years if you're not a national organization. And the fact is, we have more than 1 million volunteers across the country in all 50 states and DC. And you'll see a slide about that later. This is a grassroots movement that started on someone's dining room table. Someone who grew up in New York City and was deeply impacted by the terrorist attacks of 9/11 and tried to enlist in the United States Marine Corps, which Paula and I love, but couldn't because she was in her mid-40s and she was turned away, and she went to the Army and she went to the Air Force and she went to the Navy. And the USO Metro will love this. She started volunteering at a USO lounge. Literally the week after 9/11, when she heard she couldn't enlist in our military. And for days and weeks and months, she was providing support to our military service members. And she would see them come in and out of LA. And one day, 18 months after starting her service there, she met a young soldier who was clearly down in the dumps. And this is a sad story, but I want you to listen to the sad story and realize that something good has come out of it. The tremendous impact that has been made as a result of it. Turns out this soldier was home on emergency leave for 2 weeks, and he was attending his mother's funeral, his sole surviving parent's funeral. And while he was home for 2 weeks on emergency leave from Iraq, his wife left him, and he lost his only infant son to a sudden illness. And he literally had no one. And Carolyn, never able to get his name or his email. He got back on a plane and went to Iraq. Carolyn wanted to show him and others like him that there were people back home who cared. She went to Costco with a few soccer moms. They put 4 care packages together and they sent them off to Iraq the day the invasion of Iraq started. And a grassroots movement was born. 6 weeks later, her living room was flooded with boxes. 17 years later, on February 29th, Paul, myself, our team, and 1,100 volunteers assembled 15,000 care packages in 3 hours, containing 750,000 individual items, to include paracord survival bracelets that were handmade by volunteers, hand-knit scarves that were knitted and crocheted from volunteers across the country, and 7 to 10 handwritten letters of appreciation. And this is where our mission evolved, because Carolyn and our organization took it to the point where we had a foundation across the country to do more, because a care package is a vehicle for appreciation. Saying thank you for your service is the start of a conversation that leads to a meaningful connection, that builds bridges, that creates understanding and empathy. And you've all heard the term, the civilian-military divide. Operation Gratitude is not just about care packages. Operation Gratitude is about making meaningful connections between civilians and our military and first responder heroes, forging bonds so that we can bridge divides. And that expands beyond our military to first responders. And that is why I'm at this organization. I learned in the military over 20 years. And when I transitioned out, and then when I saw young men and women, E5s and below, struggling to find work, that there was a divide, that we had to create a better understanding about service and sacrifice. And then I came to this organization knowing what we could accomplish. And that was bringing together civilians with our military veterans and first responders in a meaningful way, in person. So in the 16 months leading to COVID, to put this in perspective, we were in 9 different communities, one twice in San Antonio, 9 different communities: San Antonio, Jacksonville, Florida, Washington, DC, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City, Nashville, Cincinnati, San Diego, 9 cities. We brought together 5,000 volunteers who had been with Operation Gratitude, many of whom from the very beginning, and they assembled 100,000 care packages. 30,000 went to deployed troops. 30,000 went to our nation's newest service members, recruit graduates in the Army, in the Air Force, in the Navy, in the Coast Guard, in the Marine Corps. And 40,000 of them were delivered to every police officer, every firefighter, and every EMT in 8 of those 9 cities, directly by our volunteers. At those events, we brought military families, we brought veterans, we brought first responders side by side with those civilians, with those grateful Americans. And they talked, and they laughed, and they sang, and they danced, and they created a meaningful connection. And we sparked a bond, right? We sparked a bond, but we want to go back to those cities again and again and again. And you're going to hear about what we're doing in Washington, DC. And that grassroots movement that started on someone's dining room table, we have a responsibility now as an organization, especially in the current environment that we're in. We have a responsibility to do more, to take the next step. And that care package, that thank you for your service, has to lead to a more meaningful connection. Because as an organization, when you have 1 million people across the country, and you've served 2.9 million military veterans and first responders, to include 1.8 million deployed overseas, you have a responsibility to connect them in a more meaningful way so that we can bridge divide. And ultimately, not just bridge divides, but build and strengthen communities. And make no mistake about it, just like me, there are service members, veterans, military families, first responders and their families. They serve for one reason. They want to build and strengthen their communities. They want to build and strengthen their nation. And that happens at the community level. And our volunteers want the same thing. They want to be part of a community of volunteers. If you think about all those pieces coming together, that is the potential of the organization. And that's why we're on this call. That is why we do what we do. And what excites me when I hear all of your missions in a sentence or two, right, is the potential that exists to build and strengthen communities. Because every nonprofit leader on this call, and I'm including all of you, if you run a program, you are a leader. You have a responsibility to partner to achieve a greater impact. That's what we're all here for. And that's what we must do, especially at a time where our country is divided, where we have people at home struggling with stress and anxiety, and when we can do more together than apart. So we'll go ahead to the next slide, because I probably don't even know. I talked a little bit about the different programs. We actually have 6, and I touched on all of these a little bit. Already this year, and I'm going to turn it over to Paul to talk about what we've done, and really an unprecedented year for Operation Gratitude. Already this year, we've impacted 361,000 deployed troops, first responders, veterans, recruit graduates, wounded heroes and caregivers, and military families, and add healthcare heroes, doctors and nurses across the country. Paul will talk about some of the numbers. What you don't see on here, in addition to healthcare heroes, are our volunteers. We serve them too. We give them a sense of purpose. And that in a nutshell is Operation Gratitude. We go to the next slide before I turn it over to Paul, just to give you some context. I told you about what we did in the 16 months leading up to COVID-19 and the outbreak of it. And as I turn it over to Paul, I want to share with all of you, because I'm sure it was a stressful and anxious time for all your organizations and for you as leaders. But the day California, the governor of California and the mayor of Los Angeles announced the stay-at-home order, Paul and I, it was a Thursday night, third week in March. I don't know, it was March 19th, March 20th, I can't remember the exact date, close to around our 17th anniversary. And they issued the stay-at-home order, and we actually called to talk about shutting down operations. We talked about furloughing our employees. And when you have 2 Marine leaders, people who served for 47 years collectively, all we wanted to do was take care of our team first and foremost, but also continue to make an impact. And we did what all good organizations do. We pivoted. We pivoted to 2 main pillars, something called virtual volunteerism and jumbo care packages, literally bulk shipments. And this is very apparent. We couldn't bring large groups together anymore to assemble our care packages. So we went out to the entire database, individuals and their households, and told them, you can still support Operation Gratitude, because we are going to support COVID-19 frontline responders in a big way. And it's been one of the most remarkable 4 months in the history of our organization, because we gave them a sense of purpose. Corporations who have employees working remotely volunteer with us. The 17,000 community-based groups across the country who represent those million volunteers across the country. The teachers worked with their students, the coaches worked with their athletes, the churches worked with their parishioners, the community-based groups worked with their members, and they made bracelets, made scarves, knitted hats, and wrote letters in earnest to support our efforts of jumbo care packages, which Paul will talk about now. So thanks for letting me open it up, and again, for the opportunity to speak. Colonel Cuccinata.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, it's interesting how this all started. Kevin gave you a little bit of insight into our thought process and kind of almost ruminating over this concern about, shutting down operations. And Kevin and I both live in Northern Virginia. We were going for a run. We were actually doing a bracelet challenge for Vietnam Veterans Day. And we were running through DC, and we ran into a gentleman named Pat Burke. Pat is a retired police chief, also a U.S. Marshal, and works for a foundation in DC supporting the police and the first responders in those communities. And he asked us, hey, listen, there's a run on hand sanitizer, right? You all remember that, right? Late March, everybody was trying to get their hands on hand sanitizer, and the police community in DC couldn't get them. And Pat asked us, hey, can you guys help? And it just so happened we had about 300,000 bottles, 1.5 ounce bottles of a hand sanitizer in LA. So we called our team, they got some pallets together, put them on a truck and sent them out to DC. And Kevin and I had the opportunity to go meet with the police chief, Chief Newsham, and deliver some hand sanitizer, some other health and comfort items, Cliff bars, and most importantly, letters of support from the American people. And we just saw what we had seen before in our care package deliveries, but we saw that it was great for them to get hand sanitizer, very practical. But what they needed was just reassurance and resolve from the community around them, represented by these letters from grateful Americans all across the country to say, hey, thanks for your service. And they had these, drawings from kids and notes from grandparents and people, all walks of life came together to say, hey, thank you for what you're doing to keep our nation safe, especially during these challenging times. And talking to somebody like Chief Newsham, 30-year veteran in the police force, when he says, hey, listen, that hand sanitizers are great. My guys love it. They appreciate it. They need it. But what they really need is those letters. And then he tells me that, right? So here, Kevin and I are a couple of salty Marines, and there's this chief, and the three of us have tears welling up in our eyes because we recognize the impact that the communities of people who come together to share this experience in a virtual way now through these letters, to show their gratitude and their support for these police officers. And that got us to thinking. Kevin talked about virtual volunteers, and we knew now we couldn't bring 1,100 volunteers together at our facility in LA, or hundreds of volunteers together at the DC National Guard Armory, or at a venue in a place like San Antonio, Texas, or New York City. But we did know we could bring people together virtually and get them to make more paracord bracelets. I've been working on some today myself, or to write letters of support, or to do a donation drive, or to work with their corporation to donate their time, their talent, and their treasure to support not Operation Gratitude, but all these great Americans, these police officers, these firefighters, these mobilized National Guard servicemen and women, and these healthcare heroes. We heard from these hospitals in New York City. Actually, I think one of our first outreach was from a hospital where, ironically, Karen Blaszczak, our founder, where her father served as a physician for years and years. And these med students reached out to us and they said, hey, we'd like to help our doctors working around the clock in this COVID-19 environment. They don't have time to stop to take a break. They don't have time to get a bite to eat. Do you guys have anything? And of course, we had these snack items, things like M&M's candy, or these little small snack bags of beef jerky, and Starbucks coffee, who came on board as a partner to support this effort. And we went forward and we sent them to hospitals up in New York City, and then pretty soon hospitals across the country. And not only did we find we were impacting these first echelon healthcare heroes who were on the front lines of the crisis, but we also were helping indirectly the patients and the families they were supporting and treating. So you'll see on this slide, we talk about impacting 309,000 frontline responders. That number's a little old, but we're upwards close to 350,000 now just for our frontline responders. But imagine now how that branches out, the patients, the families, the patrons of the support that the police officers and firefighters and EMTs are providing. And I think it's not a stretch to say that this has extended well beyond the 300,000 mark, maybe up to 1 million, right? Who knows where it stops? And it goes back to what Kevin said and what we've heard on this conversation today about bringing communities together to serve one another, to make individual communities stronger, make collective communities stronger, and invariably making our country stronger. I'll stop there. I'll pick it up here in a second, but Betsy put in a couple of videos in here that really do tell the story, and you probably get tired of hearing people like me chat at you. So Betsy, if we can run the first video clip. Thank you.
During these challenging times, Operation Gratitude is focused on two things: providing direct support to the brave men and women on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic, and giving every American the opportunity to express appreciation to frontline responders through virtual volunteerism in their own homes. In the coming weeks, together, we will lift the spirits of deployed troops globally and hundreds of thousands of first responders, emergency medical personnel, and National Guardsmen in cities and states most impacted by coronavirus. They cannot stop, so we will not stop. Over the next several weeks, we plan to deliver 5 million critically needed items and hundreds of thousands more letters of appreciation to frontline responders across the country. The fact is, those numbers will grow exponentially when other frontline responders learn of our efforts. We will not only send them what they need, we will also lift their spirits and let them know that Americans everywhere appreciate their service and sacrifice. As we ramp up operations to meet the growing need, I'm asking you to do 2 things. First, sit down with your loved ones today and handwrite a thank you letter for a frontline responder in harm's way. And second, please consider making a donation to Operation Gratitude's COVID-19 Response Fund. It doesn't matter how large or small your contribution is, every little bit helps. Our pledge to you is simple. We will let our actions speak louder than words. We know what must be done, and we are taking action to get it done. As our nation's frontline responders continue to serve in unthinkable conditions, we will continue to support them. Please join our virtual volunteerism movement and do your part to give back to the men and women who are giving everything they can to serve and protect our communities and our nation. Visit www.operationgratitude.com to take action with Operation Gratitude today.
Now, don't worry, I'm not gonna pass the plate around to collect money, but I thought it was neat just to see that, and even more so to note that Kevin's wearing the same hat in the video as he's wearing right now. So I had to put that out there. But it really is about people coming together. This next slide just talks about a couple of campaigns, one that is past and one that is ongoing. Christmas in July. We get letters of support, and we've always gotten letters of support from grateful Americans across the country, and especially around the holidays, right? People get really excited about supporting particularly deployed troops and folks that are away from home during the Christmas season. So we get tons and tons of letters that come in. But every letter that comes into Operation Gratitude is screened and then bundled together before it goes out in a care package. So over the years, we find that we'll get letters in December that we don't have time to screen and prepare to send out just in time for the holidays. So those maybe go into the next year. And over the years, we had a Christmas in July campaign. We would take some of those letters and send them out to deployed troops in July as kind of a fun activity and a way to connect them with communities. Well, this year, our Christmas in July campaign centered around our deployed troops. Because of COVID-19 and because we couldn't bring volunteers together to make care packages, we weren't doing the same volume of shipments overseas to deployed troops, just because we physically couldn't bring communities together to make these boxes. And it was really kind of tearing us up inside, frankly. So we found a way. And we brought in a small number of volunteers. And instead of in a matter of hours, it took us a couple of days. Kevin talked about 3 or 4 hours in February, made 15,000 care packages and care pouches. Our goal a couple of weeks ago was to make 5,000 care packages over a 3-day period in Washington, D.C. at the National Guard Armory. We beat our goal by 35. And by today, the majority of those care packages are in the hands of troops serving overseas, with a little bit of a token of a Christmas in July presentation for them, with some letters and some scarves and some bracelets, and certainly from snack items from companies like Mars Confectionery and Starbucks and others. And then the Pay It Forward campaign. And this is really unique to this audience today, because most of us here today are affiliated one way or the other with the military community. And we have found that, this idea of service is understood most by those who serve, right? Kevin talked about empathy, about understanding what it's like to be in somebody else's shoes. And we know it best, right? Those of us who serve or are closely tied to the military, veteran, and first responder communities. So we've asked some of our partners and some of our veterans and first responders and military members to pay it forward a little bit, right? You've been a recipient of some gesture of goodwill, small or large, from American, grateful Americans. So why not have a military veteran write a letter of appreciation to a healthcare hero or to a first responder, or vice versa? And we've been working that campaign for quite some time, and we find it, really successful in the idea that it creates that empathy, it creates that understanding, and it helps, bring even those communities, first responders, closer together with military closer together with their healthcare heroes. So this is a unique opportunity for partners like those, or on the call, nonprofit community members, to come together to serve in a unique way. And you can see the number there, 132,000 letters, right, coming in this summer, just incredible. I think, Betsy, we have another video too. Yeah, so this video talks about what we did in DC.
But it's coming early for deployed troops this year. ABC7's Kristen Powers visited the nonprofit Operation Gratitude at the DC Armory, where volunteers are hard at work. Here at the DC Armory, volunteers are hard at work getting boxes together. These are going to be care packages, 5,000 of them going to troops overseas. Joining me now, Kevin Schmiegel, CEO of Operation Gratitude. What does it mean for troops overseas as a veteran yourself to receive a care package like this? Christmas in July.
Well, for our deployed troops, I think this support that Operation Gratitude and grateful Americans across the country are giving is more important than ever. They're facing extended deployment. Today, for the third day, to make 5,000 care packages.
Walk me through what are some of these goodies that the troops will be getting.
These are a great deck of cards if they get some downtime, Magic the Gathering cards. One of deployed troops' favorite is Starbucks coffee. Starbucks actually donated 100,000 pounds of coffee since COVID-19 started. A really special item is a handmade scarf that we put in every care package for a deployed troop. Maybe a little bit hot, but it really does show the deployed service member that there are people back home who care.
And as you're stepping up this care package, how has this pandemic changed the way you, as Operation Gratitude, has done things? A lot less volunteers.
Well, we had to evolve as an organization, and we made a decision back on April 1st that we would support 300,000 frontline responders. With these care packages today, we reached that goal. And not only that, we made a commitment as we get to 300,000, because we have a second wave of COVID-19, to do a second wave of gratitude. We are aiming for 500,000 frontline responders here at home, doctors, nurses, first responders, and National Guardsmen, and thousands of deployed troops in harm's way.
That is amazing. These last two items, even more spectacular. Walk me through these.
Here's the paracord survival bracelet. This is handmade by a grateful American. We receive 300,000 of these each year. It's a show of appreciation. But more importantly, and probably the greatest item that we put in our care packages, are these handwritten letters of appreciation.
I love it. A picture and everything. It says thank you. And that's that finished box. This is what troops will get. And if you look on over there, volunteers are putting shipping labels on them, and they will be shipped out today. So if you want to learn more about Operation Gratitude, the amazing work you guys are doing, head to WJLA.com. But Christmas in July, spreading some Christmas cheer, especially during this tough time. Back to you. All right.
Yeah, so that really was a fun event, but certainly a crazy change from what we're used to. We're used to a very robust environment, music playing, hundreds of volunteers coming together. And in that particular case, we just had a couple of groups come in. I will tell you though, it's, during a challenging time for the nation with COVID-19 and some of the challenges we're having with protests and whatnot across the nation, it was great to see the community of DC come together to support this event for us. And we had a really unique group come in, a group of men and women who were from DC, and they were police cadets. Our friend Pat Burke, who I talked about before, he works with the youth in DC, and he brought in these police cadets. These are men and women who have now committed their lives to service in the policing world. And it was great to see these folks come out of DC and to want to join the police force and go back and continue to serve in their own communities to make those communities stronger, and to spread that service in a different way by helping us make these care packages for men and women serving overseas. Just one way for communities of servants to come together to serve one another. This slide that Betsy threw up is a kind of a heat map of our nation, as you can tell. And what you see there is where our volunteers come from and where the majority of the support is. And, you know, if you blew that up a little bit, you could see those cities that Kevin talked about where we came together and served last year. And it gives you an idea of where we're going to be serving in the future. There will be a time in the near future where we will get together. You can see a little time horizon here for 2021 where we'll get together with different partners and different communities, nonprofit, as well as corporations to come together to make care packages, but more importantly, to bring communities together to share stories of service and sacrifice and to break down those barriers that Kevin talked about and you know, forge those strong bonds between the civilians and the service members, men and women who serve in the military or men and women who serve in the first responder community. You can certainly get involved by going to operationgratitude.com, learn more about our virtual volunteerism programs or our Pay It Forward campaign, but also just look ahead to, particularly in the DC area, we do a lot, obviously in our national capital region. And when we have events, we would like to communicate those events through collaborative groups like this to get you and your teams to come and volunteer and serve and support. Okay. Betsy's kind of keeping me moving here. I know we're coming up against a timeline, but the three of us stand ready to answer any questions you might have.
I'd like to add just one comment for the group. So I want to go back to the Pay It Forward partnership and then make an ask really for everyone. If you look at the logos at the bottom of this slide with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation, United Through Reading, Team Red, White, and Blue, NMFA, and Hiring Our Heroes, the organization I was proud to be a part of. What really happened with the Pay It Forward initiative is we expanded our impact, 132,000 letters. One thing that I want you all to consider is when veterans are asked what they want to do after they serve, one of the top three things they say is serve. So for us, this phone call is about an opportunity for the communities you serve to continue serving. And Pay It Forward is about expanding our grassroots movement in communities, but also working with partners to give veterans, military families, service members, first responders and their families the opportunity to pay it forward. And in my mind, that is what builds and strengthens communities. So I think for me, this is about asking us for things that we can do for you. That could include providing our services to your organizations like care packages, but it also could include us working together to achieve greater impact through volunteerism. And that looks like knitting scarves for some of the members that you support. That includes making these bracelets like I did while Paul was doing his as well during this call, or handwriting letters. So I think we will answer questions now, but I just want everyone to know in the call how much I appreciate all you're doing with your organizations and your continued service. If you were in the military and are veterans now, if you're civilians, family members, military spouses, military family members, brothers, sisters, cousins, or just someone who has a strong passion and affinity for serving, I want to end with that too, just by saying thank you for serving those communities that we serve too. And we're hopeful that we get to work together with all of you. So I think we'll turn it back over to Christy, and she could facilitate because I'll just keep talking.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin and Paul and Betsy. Such great information, and loves, sharing that passion about building communities and strengthening partnerships. I think that's what these collaboratives are about. And I love, having other people that share that vision and that focus, for what we can all do together, because we are all out there wanting to support the military and veterans, give back to them in many different ways. And the way that we can all come together to do that is, just can be absolutely amazing. So yeah, again, I'll pause. Let's see what questions everybody has, and then we'll go forward.
I have a question. Do I wait eight seconds before I speak again?
No, you're good, Neil. Go for it.
Okay, for Paul and Kevin. I'm 75. I'm a Vietnam vet, and my wife and I have secondary health issues. She won't let me out of the house much anymore. So I'm in the virtual world. I've been doing this for 30 years in hospitals and health clubs and GMU for a couple of years now. They've booked me again because, especially with seniors, the stress issue is growing and growing. And I'm still working on PTSD from Vietnam, but I've been able to help folks. So I saw your website, and I need to write that down. But for somebody that can offer to individuals and groups a venue of just a lot of fun. I mean, my wife says it's stupid humor, but a lot of people say there's some relevance to it. I've really been helping a lot of folks with the tapping issues, and I know that tapping was, as I've told to many people before, was sanctioned by the VA in 2017. It was started 2009, going through the government to get it sanctioned for use in VA hospitals across the nation. And I've been using it for, oh God, a couple of years now, along with Heart Math from the Heart Math Institute in California, with the Foundation of Mindfulness. So how can somebody like myself serve your organization?
I think that's a great question, Neil. We actually created a community of volunteers on Facebook, which has grown to 1,000 people in very short order. That would be a great thing to get connected with. I think we can set up a separate phone call to talk to you about any communities of veterans, Vietnam veterans or otherwise, that you think Operation Gratitude can support with a delivery. And then also just working from your own home, making bracelets, writing letters. Maybe if your wife knits, you can get her to do that too. So there's really 3 things there. I'd encourage you to do all 3, and then through Christy or through this chat, because I haven't been keeping track of the chat. I can only do one thing. I'm not a multitasker, but you can email us, and then we'll set up a time to talk about stuff that we're doing in DC in particular, because we are in some ways DC based too with our leadership. So we're literally on September 9th, 10th, and 11th doing another event at the DC Armory that's with a smaller group where we're getting people together to support first responders in recognition of 9/11. So those opportunities will exist throughout the year, and we'll definitely provide those through Christy and Mary as well, and the collaborative.
Okay, you have my contact information, but specifically for me, the way I would pay it forward would be individuals and groups doing de-stress management. That's what I've come to know and I love, and people have responded. So that would be specific in my way of volunteering. So
yeah, that's perfect. So we can start with me, because I could use a little de-stress management myself, and we'll talk about who else you can serve through us. Paul held up his bracelet, de-stress management. Maybe we can make bracelets while we're doing it. This is what I did during the call. So
cool. All right. Well, you know what I've offered. You have my contact information. So whenever you get a hold of me, we'll work out details and see how we can go forward. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks you, Paul, also.
You're still waiting 8 seconds, Christy.
I'm gonna wait 8 seconds.
Kevin, I just want to say that thank you for the presentation. I think it was great. I heard about your organization, but not to the level of detail that you presented. So it is awesome to learn exactly what are you doing. And I think it was super clever and fantastic that you were able to provide some virtual volunteerism opportunities for the people. I can hear all over and over that people want to help others. They want to do something. They want to go here. They want to go there. They want to bring food, take the pantry, and do everything. But with COVID, we need to revive and do things differently. So I think it's fantastic that you find a way to kind of way and move people and be able to actually keep participating and be providing this opportunity, which is awesome. So thank you.
In response to that, thank you. It makes me feel good that someone affirms what we did. But anyone at all on this call, to give you an example, since COVID started, I've done 500 Zoom calls, and many of them are to work with leaders like you in groups like this, and we present just the way we presented to you, and then we make bracelets together, or they write letters. So I will do that, Paul will do that, Betsy will do that with any group that wants to do it. It'll be a function of getting the cord to them, right? So 7.5 foot cord, right? And talking them through how to do it. And it's a lot of fun because it's frustrating. It took me 18 months to learn how to do it. But for anyone on the call, if you want to do that with the groups that you work with, and even their families, like we do these calls with corporations and groups and their kids sitting on the laps of their parents. It's just wonderful to be a part of. So Betsy and I did it for the Elizabeth Dole Foundation and their fellows. So it was great for those caregivers, and we would love to do that with you if it's helpful. Thank you.
I'm going to chime in real quick and just say, as the director of the Wounded Hero Caregiver Program, I know I have worked with some of your organizations previously to get care packages into the hands of your community. But because I'm local here too, and my husband was at Belvoir in the Warrior Transition Unit, I kind of have a special place in my heart for this community. So please know that you can reach out to me directly. I've put my information in the chat, that I am here to support that wounded, ill, and injured community, whether it's through care packages or these pay it forward activities. COVID has kind of put a pause on all of it. And so another reason why I was excited to do this here with you today, and Christy and Mary, was the fact to get reconnected with all of you again. So like Ashi said, I've done stuff with the USO and all the other, not all, but tons of the other nonprofits. So if I haven't done anything with you yet, please reach out to me. I'm here for you as a resource. Our whole team is, and I'm excited to get things going in the new post-COVID-19 world. So again, great to see you all today.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate your time today. And I love that, you use the time to be making bracelets while you're in the part of the collaborative. What a fun idea. Maybe we can figure out a way to get those to the rest of the collaborative, and they can do it during our next call in October while we're all chatting. Might be kind of fun. Awesome. Well, with that, I want to, as we wind down on this meeting, give everybody a chance to share updates and announcements, things that are going on, things that you want people to know about. And again, if there's also issues that are going on in the community, spouses or veterans that you're working with, military families you're working with that you need help with, this is a great time to also reach out to your fellow partners to ask for support. So with that, I just want to share a couple of updates on Serving Together. First one, we have our upcoming Serving Together in Practice review. It's our 2-year celebration of the network, and many of you are part of that network. So we invite all of you to be a part of it. We'll share data. We're going to share insights and updates about what's going on with the network, things that we're seeing, trends in the community, top needs when it comes to our military and veteran population. So I encourage you all to attend. We have Laura Geller, which is a Emmy-winning journalist that will be kind of emceeing the networking session. We're going to have Maureen Casey from IVMF doing some introductions. We'll have some awesome speakers from the community. David Muir, Patrick Campbell, some of you know those folks that'll be speaking on some panels and more. So should be a great event. We'll be sending out more invitations and announcements over the coming week to share with the agenda. The last thing I want to share with you is we actually have 2 job opportunities within our Every Mind organization that are coming up. One is Serving Together is going to be hiring a new director. AMSA is actually being promoted to our Chief Development Officer. Very excited for her, but that means we will need to fill a Serving Together director position. And then we also are hiring for an education director. So if anybody has experience in education and training, we will be hiring for that as well. It is out of our Rockville office, but right now we're doing everything remotely. So more than likely the persons will be remote for the most part, maybe some traveling as things start opening up again. So I'm going to post those job opportunities in the chat, as well as share the upcoming IPR that we have on September 1st. So with that, I'll kind of turn it over to those that want to share updates. If you'll kind of just take turns, and who would like to go first?
If nobody's going to jump in, I'll say something real quick. We also have an opportunity available right now at the Workhouse Arts Center. So we are just south of DC. So if you're not used to Lorton, because you say Lorton and most people are like, what? We're right out of DC, so we're not far. And I have a residency open for anybody who is interested in being an artist in residence, has a military background. So we have one painter right now who is former infantry in the Army, and he did a couple tours in Afghanistan. And we are looking to fill another studio. It's a completely paid for residency. So as long as they want to practice their artistic skills, it doesn't matter what the art medium is. Their space is completely subsidized by our program. And we only ask that they kind of give back and become an ambassador for our program. That's really their only job responsibility, other than to make their work and continue to grow artistically. So if anybody knows of any particularly either current or former military personnel that have served in some way, it doesn't matter what branch or reservists or whatever, as long as they have an artistic skill that they'd like to progress and really make that transition from, you know, military into that artistic lifestyle, and are interested in that, and interested in studying in that and giving back to the program, then please send in my information, because we have a whole studio waiting for them. We're just looking to fill it.
All right, I'll go next. I was asking Christy for memory since she's younger than I am. So again, Julie Riggs with Blue Star Families. I was trying to figure out if I was going to, I have two things to mention and I don't want to take up all of our time. So I was trying to figure out which one was more important. Christy, can you tell me when our next meeting date is? And that will make me determine when I'm going to be doing this.
October 15th.
Okay, so I'll say this now. Okay, so Blue Star Families has an annual military family lifestyle survey, and it will be launching on September 2nd, and we'll be collecting data for our 2020 survey through October 16th. So probably a good idea that I mentioned it now and not wait until October 15th. I wanted to let everyone know that I will be reaching out probably to many of you that I know, and maybe even asking Christy if she can put something up on Serving Together's informational weekly page to encourage all of you to take the survey individually, as well as to share it with military and veterans that you work with or in your networks. I was saying on a group, some of you heard this yesterday, but we had an opportunity this year. We've been doing the survey for 9 years. Last year, we were able to get over 11,000 respondents across the United States, which meant that we could actually cut the data specifically to certain regions. And we were able to cut the data for the National Capital Region because we had enough participants. And so we were able to actually not only look at military, family, and veteran issues nationally, but locally. We were not able to cut the veteran data locally because we didn't have enough respondents in the veteran category. So as someone who's worked in the veteran space for 5 years prior to coming to Blue Star, I'm very passionate about seeing if we can get this out to a lot of veterans this year and get more people who to take the survey. Therefore, we could look at specific veteran data via the survey. So I'm going to throw into the chat our website. You can check out information about the survey and what kind of data it looks at. It's a very comprehensive survey. We've been, like, again, doing it for 9 years. We partner with the Institute for Veterans and Military Families to look at that data, to interpret that data. And then hopefully when we go live with it, I can enlist all of you to, you know, get the word out for me and help us grow that population with the people you serve, so that we can get a better view of what, you know, what issues and what things our veterans are saying and our military families are saying in the National Capital Region. And then lastly, second thing, Neil will be doing a stress management workshop on September 22nd at 4 p.m. For Blue Star Families, and it's open to anyone who wants to register. You do not have to be an active duty service member or even a veteran. It's open to anyone. So that information I'll also send out through Christy, and we welcome all of you to join us. Thank you.
Can
Awesome.
I ask a quick question, Julie? Does Blue Star Families have the ability to track through URLs success with organizations in driving people to take the survey? So,
We
for example,
do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if an organization wants to be a survey partner, we not only do we feature their logo on our website and social media and in any of the, the survey related marketing stuff that we do, but we have a specific link that links to that organization, and we're able to track which organizations drove people to the survey, because they will take the survey based on that link. And then we also have some actual incentives in place also to encourage organizations for participation. So if anybody's interested in being what we call a logo partner, please let me know. I would love to have you on board pushing the survey out, and then also give you guys credit for that on, on the survey itself and on our website and social media. Thank you for that question. That was great. Betsy, 1, 2, or 3.
Christy, this is Forrest. Can I just make one little announcement?
Yes.
On the 3rd of October, between 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock, or 1300 and 1900 for you military, we're going to be, the Northern Virginia Veterans Association is going to be having a fundraising event called Bikes, Beer, and Barbecue. And it's going to be at Tucked Away Brewing Company, which is in Manassas, 8420 KO Circle. And we're going to be having, well, a number of the clubs represented there, just guys getting out, trying to stretch their legs and get a little wind therapy. And then, of course, Tucked Away Brewing is going to have plenty of beer on tap. Smoky Bones Barbecue will be there. Dave's Dogs will be there. And we'll even have musical entertainment by a band called Skinny Wallace. They're a little country, a little rock and roll. Okay, and we're going to be practicing all of the safe stuff. Okay, there will be, most of the bikers will probably have masks on, so you can't see they're ugly. Okay, and but it's going to be a lot of fun. Come on out. Spend money, okay, drink beer, have a good time.
Sounds fun, Forrest.
Forrest, what's the date for that again?
3 October.
Thanks.
Any other updates? I've been seeing a lot of great stuff in the chat. Again, like as I mentioned, I'll share that in the follow-up notes. Again, I'm not the best at getting them out on time, but I'm hoping to get them out next week if I can.
Yeah, I have just a quick little fun plug. So for the Travis Manian Foundation, every year around 9/11, we have commemorative 5K races across the country. So we have our 9/11 Heroes runs quickly approaching for the area. I can drop the link to the registration. So if you're an avid runner or walker, you can sign up online. They're all virtual. We have several in the area: Baltimore, Annapolis, Alexandria, Richmond, and the Norfolk, Virginia area, Virginia Beach area. You get an awesome shirt, you'll get a neck gaiter, all sorts of fun stuff this year for our Heroes Run. So if you're interested and you want to sign up, I put the link in the chat. And it's just a great way to kind of get out and enjoy some fresh air and support those who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
I'm glad to hear runs are starting to come back because it's been a little while for virtual runs and stuff. So it'll be fun to start doing some more stuff again, hopefully. Anybody else? Again, I'll give you 8 seconds. All right. Well, it was so good to see you all today. Our next meeting will be October 15th, 12 to 2 p.m. Again, we'll do it on Zoom. We'll be working on getting the speakers and everything lined up for that. But in the meantime, I hope that you all stay safe, stay healthy, stay well, and thank you for doing what you're doing. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Bye.